Hello again. Essay here. Anyone who is familiar with Mark Zuckerberg, the man, the myth, the legend, knows that this guy, when you look at his life history, he only cared about one thing, or I should say three things: me, myself, and I. Indeed, anyone who's ever watched that film, The Social Network, says, yeah, that film pretty much pegged the guy right. However, when he became the boss of bosses at Facebook, now called Meta, let's just say, as an old rap song once said, more money, more problems. And anyone who remembers what was happening back during Trump's first term, and more importantly, during the Biden administration, knows that, yep, old Zuck definitely got a lot more problems than he ever thought possible. And yet, the guy, he may look like Data's half-human brother. And you say Data? Yeah, Data from Star Trek, but let's not get into the weeds. He may look like Data's cyborg brother, but it doesn't mean the guy isn't crafty, sly, slick, knows how to maneuver. And anyone who's been paying attention to what Zuckerberg's been doing for the last almost 8 years now, say, yeah, the guy can be slippery. Well, what a difference 8 years makes. Because back when Trump was president the first time, he basically kind of sat in his hands and just let things happen. But then, right around the time of the coup, whoa, things just kind of went off the rails. And of course, anyone who remembers that Matt Taibbi and his Twitter reports knows that what was happening at Twitter wasn't just happening at Twitter. It was happening everywhere in Silicon Valley. It was happening at Apple, Amazon, Google, and finally, it was happening at Facebook. And indeed, Aaron remembers what happened right around the time Trump was going out the door. You know, January 6th. What happened? He gets banned from Facebook. And then old Zuck tried to basically say, oh, it wasn't me. It was our, what they call them, our safety and whatever department, where the hell that means. They banned Trump. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure, player. But anyway, and Trump stayed banned off of Facebook until recently. And you say recently? Yeah, like around time Trump won the a second term as president. And at this point, you're saying, well, why would he do that? If he had the guy banned off of the guy's website all this time. And I'm thinking, maybe the man has an ulterior motive. Ever thought about that? Now, right now, I'm going to show you a snippet of a video by old Mark Dice. And he's got the receipts, okay? And let's just say this. Mark Dice, he may not be as slippery as old Zuck, but he's clever enough. Okay? Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm sure everybody has heard by now that this week Facebook announced they were ending their fact-checking program, which they outsourced their censorship to various fact-suppressing third-party independent agencies, which then dumped information, facts, opinions, and often memes down the memory hole that Zuckerberg now admits were often true, as he is afraid that Facebook may go the way of MySpace. So he's trying to make Facebook great again. But the story gets even better because they also ended their DEI programs, their Democrats Employing Idiots program, the Didn't Earn It program, in an internal memo that has many Facebook staffers quite upset. On Friday, Meta's makeover continued when the company told employees it would end its work on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It eliminated its chief diversity officer role, ended its diversity hiring goals that called for the employment of a certain number of women and minorities, and said it would no longer prioritize minority-owned businesses when hiring vendors. I mean, what's next? Are they going to take the tampons out of the men's bathrooms? Oh, wait, what's this? That same day at Meta's offices in Silicon Valley, Texas, and New York, facilities managers were instructed to remove tampons from men's bathrooms, which the company had provided for non-binary and transgender employees who used the men's rooms and who may have required sanitary pads, two employees said. Tampon Tim, Kamala Harris's vice presidential running mate, sure isn't going to be happy about this. Years ago now, all of the big tech platforms installed tampon dispensers in the men's bathrooms because, well, you know why. They're insane. Joe Biden, who thankfully in less than 10 days will be evicted from the White House and no longer have to pretend that he is the president, is very upset about Mark Zuckerberg's new policies.
Walking away from fact-checking.
Fact-suppressing.
As well as not reporting anything having to do with discrimination regarding TPS.
TPS? What is he even talking about? Does anybody even know? I think he's talking about how they're not going to say that they're not going to censor posts anymore that make fun of transgender people, that refer to certain groups of people as having mental illnesses or being weirdos.
I find to be just contrary to American justice, the way we talk about one another. Telling the truth matters. I mean, I know I'm on national television, but you all are local reporters and national reporters. This is not a real question, but what do you think? You think it doesn't matter that they let be printed where millions of people read it, things that are simply not true? I mean, I want to know what that's all about.
It's about free speech, sir. It's about the First Amendment. It's also about lies, because the Democrats always lie and have to censor facts and opinions that undermine their agenda, even jokes.
It's completely contrary to everything America's about.
Censorship certainly is, sir, which is why we voted you out of office.
And the idea that, a billionaire can buy something and say, by the way, from this point on, we're not gonna fact check anything. And when you have millions of people going online, reading this stuff, it is, anyway.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is especially hurt by the new decision because he wants our facts and opinions about the disastrous management of California at the hands of Democrats, him being the governor, the mayor of Los Angeles, the lesbian mafia that runs the fire department. So he wants us to be censored because, well, we've exposed them to the entire country.
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations
about why there was a water shortage, why the mayor of Los Angeles decided to cut the fire department budget by over $17 million, why a bunch of lesbians are running the fire department.
Are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time, and you wonder where this stuff comes from.
It comes from the fact that numerous cities in Los Angeles, including the Palisades and Malibu Beach, have been completely destroyed, sir. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday looking like a wigger from the 1990s and revealed information that we've known for years, that the Biden administration was coercing Facebook to censor factual information about COVID and the lockdowns and the origin of the virus, etc., etc., trying to pretend like he just didn't have any choice. They were yelling at him.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and
many of us were documenting this censorship day by day as it was happening, sir. Maybe you should subscribe to the Mark Dice YouTube channel.
And basically, it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Ridiculous that you did that millions of times. Like when they were censoring information about people pointing out that maybe that virus actually leaked from a lab.
And basically, it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're gonna see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, like this sort of like class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true.
Oh, really? Then why did I get suspended for posting this Black Friday meme that I made, showing a certain group of people saving 100% off on Black Friday by using promo code George Floyd? Your post goes against our community standards on hate speech, they said. Or this classic Joe and the Ho meme from back in 2020. That post, too, goes against harassment and bullying. Or this meme showing who was really behind the Jussie Smollett attack. Instagram took that down, gave me a suspension because that was bullying Mr. Smollett.
Then, like, all these different agencies and branches of government basically just, like, started investigating and coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Wow.
And there is one of the key reasons why they're making all of these changes now, going back to their roots, as they say, because they know with the Trump 2.0 administration coming into power in about a week and a half, that the government could become an even bigger problem for them. But a major part of this story that a lot of people are glossing over, that's kind of getting buried under the ending of the fact-checking program, which they're really just transitioning into the community note feature, which they're stealing from Elon Musk, from Twitter, from X, which is much better because then at least the posts aren't going to get suppressed and censored. They're going to have the annoying little context box placed below them, like you see on a lot of YouTube videos. But at least they're not going to be blacking out the post, dumping them down the memory hole, or at least they say, at least not yet. But another major part of the story is that they are loosening, or supposedly already have loosened, the policies regarding the things that you're actually allowed to post. So you're not going to be suspended or banned for pointing out certain facts and opinions about transgender people or black people or other whack jobs. So this is, of course, being spun that they're opening the gates to hate, which means that supposedly we're going to be able to post memes like this again. I am a woman. Or this cartoon about if Santa was black. As you can see, he comes into the house and, well, instead of bringing the kid a bike, he is stealing the bike. Of course, no brand name conservative would dare post this, even if it wasn't going to get them suspended or censored, because they're a bunch of cowards and they don't want to be accused of being racist. Me, on the other hand, being your trusted independent media analyst who hasn't sold out to any brand name corporate conservative news outlet, I think that it's long overdue that we make racist jokes great again. And when I say racist jokes, I mean, quote, racist jokes, supposedly racist jokes, racial jokes, jokes about race, jokes that are obviously true.
Okay, you saw that. Now, of course, some of you saying, oh, well, maybe Zuck has turned over a new leaf. And I'm thinking, that's possible. It's possible. Or maybe he hasn't. Because it isn't just Zuck. Indeed, multiple people, like Tim Pool, for example, and even Dr. Steve Turley, and a few others in between, like even old Jesse Waters. Yeah, they all said the same thing. Ever since Trump won the election, a lot of people who wouldn't even piss on Trump if he was sitting on fire in the street are now coming to Mar-a-Lago like a damn I didn't want to use that term because that's kind of rude. Yeah, like a conga dance. And then you say, what are they doing? Are they sitting? You say maybe they just want to see what the steak tartare is like. And I'm thinking, I don't think they're at Mar-a-Lago for the cuisine. And of course, most people said, all these various people, they're basically paying their respects. And I'm thinking, yeah. Usually see that sort of behavior when you're dealing with the Genoveses, the Gambinos, and the Colombo crime family too. You go visit the Don and you pay your respects. Yeah, anyone who saw The Godfather knows what I'm talking about, so I don't have to explain it to you. Of course, the thing is, Trump's not a mafia Don. He is the soon-to-be inaugurated President of the United States, number 47. So then you say, so what's this really all about? Well, as you were paying attention to old Dice's video, you could say that old Zuck may be hedging his bets. Because look what's going on right now in New York. Because if you were paying attention, I think the current date is the 11th of January. Yeah, the day before, remember that stupid trial that Trump was railroaded into in New York? That so-called hush money trial? The trial where supposedly he was charged with, 30 plus felonies for supposedly concealing an undescribed crime. Remember that? Except the old Fat Albert, Alvin Bragg, never revealed what the underlining crime was. Remember that? Well, if you remember what happened, when the judge finally sent cast down his judgment, you know what his judgment was on Trump for those so-called 30 plus felonies? No jail time, no fines, and no even parole. Nothing. And of course, at this point, you said, "Well, hell, that almost means like he was acquitted." Except he wasn't, because of of course, I will concede I'm not a lawyer, but if I remember how it works in the court system in the United States, if you are tried in criminal court and a judge basically has a judgment against you, then officially you're a convicted felon. Except in the case of Trump, he serves no jail time, doesn't serve a fine, he's not even put on parole. Don't you find that a little odd? Now, of course, what does that do with Zuck? I'm getting that part. It makes you wonder what would have happened if Trump hadn't won the election. Let's just say this. I don't think old Trump would have gotten that judgment. Nope. I think knowing these lefties, let's not pretend this wasn't a proper, a legal proceeding. This was basically a kangaroo court. or what's the term people like to use, lawfare. It was all about trying to keep Trump from becoming president. Now think about it. If Trump had not won the election, what do you think the judgment would have been from this New York court? You think he would have walked away with no penalty at all? I'm thinking not. In fact, a few smart people, like, what's that fella? Rudard over there at What If Alternate History. Because I remember when he was on Tim Pool's IRL show, this was a while back, he said that, this was before the election too, he said that he felt that if these people thought they could put Trump in prison, they'll do it. Even though the charges against him are rubbish. And thus, if Trump had lost the election, they probably would have thrown a book at him. 99 years in Sing Sing without the possibility of parole. No joke. But because he won the election, these people backtracked. Backtracked so much they almost about to fall into the East River. And then some of you are probably saying, when it comes to old Zuck, oh, so that's why Zuck is trying to play nice now. Because Trump's the president now. They can't treat him like a shit heel now. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's fair. So if that's the case, now what? Well, to borrow an old gangster phrase, watch your back. Because someone like Zuck, the fact that he flipped so quickly in Trump's favor after he won the election, there's a very good chance that he could flip again against Trump just as quick. Yep. Knowing Zuck's history, and as you saw in Dice's video, he was sitting there talking to old Joe Rogan about, oh, I was just following orders. I was just doing what I was told by those meanies over at the Biden administration. I'm thinking, yeah, sure. And I know a bunch of people end up in Nuremberg saying the same thing. Oh, we was just following orders to kill all the Jews and gypsies in Europe. Yeah, and know what? Those guys got hung anyway. So, if Trump wants to sit there and break bread with the old Zuck at Mar-a-Lago, well, hey, he's his own man. He can do what he wants. But if old Trump is watching this video, and I don't think he is, but whatever, don't turn your back on this guy. Because he can't be trusted. Okay? Well, that's all I gotta say about old Zuck and his flip-flopping nature. That's my opinion.